Hey everyone, what's up? On this video, I'm gonna be ranking out the assault rifles on Predator hunting grounds. I've been asked to do this video, and for a long time I actually considered the possibility of trying to rank fighting weapons, as I have done with the Predator weapons, but there are not only so many different fighting weapons, and most of them I barely used it, and I don't really feel that much of a difference. To be honest, some of these assault rifles, it was kinda hard to pick one or the other and actually rank them, because for me they are pretty much like in the same tier. Let's say like the first three ones here. I kind of put them in the same tier. It's pretty obvious which ones are gonna be the worst and the best assault rifles, as I mentioned in many times in many videos, in many live streams, which ones are more effective, which is of course Hammerhead is #1 for sure, which is pretty much like the only one I use. Like 99% of the time I'm always using the Hammerhead. There is not much reason to use any of the other ones, I mean, unless you're just bored with the Hammerhead, but I just like the Hammerhead. So I have not really tried all the assault rifles in a long time, which I have decided to. And the problem with ranking some of them is that it kind of might depend in some situations against the kind of Predator that you are up against. Like some assault rifles that are better for long range are of course gonna have an advantage over like fighting ranger Predators, which usually are the best ones, are the hardest ones to fight against. While melee Predators are just gonna get melted by some of the assault rifles that have high damage. Although even though they have high damage, they have a high recall, which is gonna be a problem against ranger Predators. So anyway, it should come to no one's surprise that the worst assault rifle in the game is the plasma rifle. Is just for many reasons. It's kind of weird because it's the one that you need to. It takes the longest time to unlock. It takes the highest level. I think it's 125 or 150. I don't remember because I think I already like was 150 when they added this rifle. The plasma rifle was not on the game when it came out. It was not in the original release. They added later together with the OW Alpha Operative class. And ever since it was added, it kind of became like a mimi gun. It takes a long while to unlock and is just kind of weak. And I think it's the only one that is projectile based. Yeah. The problem is, in comparison to the projectile against hitscan weapons, is that hitscan are just much easier, which is one of the main reasons why the fighting has the advantage against the Predator in this game. It's just all boils down to they have hitscan weapons, the Predator has projectile weapons. And of course the fighting has some projectile weapons like this one, the plasma sniper, grenade launcher, rocket launcher. But the plasma rifles have a big disadvantage because they're projectile, so when you sometimes depending on the distance, you're gonna have to aim predicting where the target is gonna be in the future by the time that the projectile reaches. So it's just harder overall to hit the targets. And not only that, it's harder to hit the plasma projectiles in comparison to the bullets, but they do low damage in comparison to most of them. I think it's just overall like low damage. It's a weapon that does low damage in comparison to the other assault rifles. It's a projectile based weapon. It doesn't have like a very big clip. You do have a lot of ammo. I mean, let's talk about the best things about this rifle. It comes with a lot of ammo, but if you like are bringing ammo, like it doesn't really matter that much, or you have like other people to bring you ammo, doesn't really matter that much. But it does come with a lot of ammo. You can kill AI and destroy alarms pretty easy with this. This gun is like the AI Slayer. Really, it's just very easy to kill AI with this gun. The Predator, the problem is dealing with the Predator. It's not a very effective weapon against the Predator. It is the only assault rifle too that has friendly fire damage, because if you use this at point blank against a Predator, it's gonna give you damage. At point blank, the plasma does give damage to the user, which is not the same thing for like other weapons. The bullets are not gonna like give you any damage if you're shooting a Predator at point blank. Well, for the plasma rifle it does. So overall, it's just like low damage projectile based weapon that doesn't really have anything to it. It doesn't even have much attachments. It only has like the red dot. Doesn't have like extended magazine. Doesn't have anything that is gonna assist you much anyway. So worst assault rifle, plasma rifle, prototype by far. Second worst, I would say probably the Pitbull, just because of the insane recoil that it has. And it's a shame because these ones are actually my favorite looking rifles in the game, and also the ones that sound the most cool to me. And it is a shame that they end up like adding this cool looking assault rifles, but they're actually bad. It's just it's good that you can put extended magazine. The damage on it is like okay. It's just like it's kind of like has like a not very good fire rate in my opinion. And it's just kind of the recoil kind of screws you over. I just think it's just not very effective, even though like it has more damage than some of the other ones here. Unless the Predator is very at point blank to you, is just not very good. I just don't like it, like how it feels. Like it sounds cool. I think it has the coolest sound in the game. I just like how it sounds, but in overall, like, it's just like from what I tested out all these rifles before doing this video, and it just feels off. It just feels like not as good as the other ones. After the Pitbull, I would say the first assault rifle, KR4. I usually don't call the weapons in this game by their name. I mean, unless a few of them, but usually I just call weapons by first rifle, first AR, second AR, third AR, fourth AI. And it is, I think this one, the only main problem with this one is just damage. I think the fire rate, the range, I mean, the recall, most of the stats about this rifle are kind of okay. Main problem is that it's just like low damage. But overall, I think it's an okay weapon. I mean, when I started playing the game, of course, this was the one that I used it. And the damage can be pretty good. It's just not as good as the other ones. And if you are playing with damage boosts, like you're using Assault with Deadly, Yautja Bane, and you have like someone to lead, the damage boost is gonna be enough. But it's not like enough for like the Plasma Rifle prototype, which I don't even know for sure if Deadly works with it. I think probably yeah, it's gonna. It's just the passive of the Assault of extra like bullet damage, which is not gonna be working. The bullet weapon damage, I don't think it works for Plasma. A lot of people think that using Unleashed works to give the Plasma Rifle more damage. I don't think it is the case, because Unleashed is supposed to be for explosives, and explosive damage and plasma damage are two different things in this game, at least from what I remember, from what I have seen people test. So Unleashed is not going to increase the damage of the Plasma Rifle. There's not much to do with the Plasma Rifle. It's never going to be a very effective weapon. The damage is never going to be good enough, and even if the damage was good enough, it's hard to hit the Predator with it. It's always going to be difficult to like hit the Predator, especially when he's moving, leaping, especially if he's from far range. Oh yeah, only good thing that I would say that the Plasma Rifle has over the other rifles is that it can bypass branches. Like when the Predator in the branches, you have to destroy the branches to be able to hit them. Sometimes the branches act as shields. They have like invisible shields against to protect the Predator. The Plasma Rifle goes through them. It goes through the branches, but still I don't think it's enough, because in the branches the Predator is far from you. And in those situations that he's far from you, it's going to be harder to hit him with the projectiles. It is also affected by the ping. If you have a high ping, this weapon becomes even harder to use. While with the other ones, because their hit scan doesn't really make much difference. The hit scan is always going to hit the target as long as you're aiming right. After the first rifle, it's just going to go through the order pretty much. It's going to be the second rifle. This one is just a little better than the first rifle, mainly because of the damage. I think that the reloading, I think it feels like it takes a little longer than in the first one. I don't know if it was just my impression as I tested it. But main thing that bothered me in this rifle was just the reload speed. But everything else, from fire rate, accuracy, recall, I think it's pretty balanced. It just, I feel like it just has a better overall damage in regards to the first one. After this two, I'm gonna put the AR. And I know the AR has a very bad recall, and I get it. But at least for me, I think that the overall, like, everything else in regards to it, like the fire rate, the damage, and at least for me, when I use it, I know how to control this amount of recall kind of well. And especially for at point blank against Predators that are very close range, I think that it can be very effective. With the Pitbull, I think that even at point blank, it just still feels hard to hit the Predator. All the AR, despite the high recall, I just, at least for me, I can manage it. I can manage the AR. I have like some videos using the AR, which is AK AR. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. It looks like an average AK gun, but they call it AR in this game. But I think that it can be very good, but it has the big disadvantage of not being very good against melee Predators. It has this one's here. It says this one has more damage, but it doesn't feel like it, to be honest. It doesn't. Actually, this one the AR feels like it has more damage than the second assault rifle. Even though it says here in the stats that it doesn't. But you cannot really completely test the in-game stats, as many times iPhone has screwed them over. But yeah, I would put the ARW, the fucking AK assault rifle, in this spot after the second rifle. As I shown in many videos, I think it can be a good overall assault rifle. After this one is gonna be the Gosler, which overall I think this weapon here, in regards to like bullet damage, like the amount of like damage that it can do to Predators, both from far or up close, it is the best one in regards to bullet damage only. But I mean, of course, it's not on the first spot. It's gonna be Mercenary Hammerhead, mainly because they have the assault, they have the grenade launcher. But this weapon is pretty good. I think the damage that it can do to the Predator is just stupid insane. Yeah, it has like almost it's the second rifle with the most amount of damage, other one being the Pitbull. But the Pitbull, like you guys know, the recoil just screws it over. The Gosler, it just feels much easier to control. It's just like a very good assault rifle. The damage is good, the fire rate is good, the range, everything. It's just like very good assault rifle, very good. It was the best one when the game came out, as the Mercenary and the Hammerhead were added with the Dutch DLCs. After the Gosler, it's gonna be the Mercenary, but these two are pretty tight. To be honest, the first 3 assault rifles, I think they are very like close to each other in my opinion as I use them. They both have their ups and downs. It can be like go either way, which is pretty difficult. I mean, the worst ones are clearly like Plasma Rifle, Pitbull. Best one is clearly the Hammerhead. But for the other ones, it was kind of hard for me to rank them because like the first 3 rifles, they are pretty close. They are pretty close to each other. It can go like really either way for any of you. I'm pretty sure that people are gonna disagree with this, with the first 3, the way that I ranked the first 3, and I completely understand it. Same thing with the Gosler and the Mercenary. They're pretty close. Even though the Mercenary has the Grenade Launcher, and the Grenade Launcher can do a lot of damage to the Predator, it can be very useful. The Gosler is overall like better for just shooting the bullets, not it has a bigger clip, mainly because the Mercenary, you cannot put any good attachments on the Mercenary. Only like you can put the suppressor, but like who cares about that? You don't have to use that in this game pretty much. It doesn't have like any kind of a scope for it. It doesn't have extended magazine. Main problem is that it has a shorter clip. That's what really bothers me about the Mercenary. Even though it does a little more damage than the Hammerhead, it's just not worth it. Most of the time you're gonna be wanting to hip fire with this because the iron sight that it has is just not very good. At least I never liked it. Has like a big disadvantage. Mercenary is good because Grenade Launcher had nice damage, nice fire rate, like everything is good except the fact that it doesn't have good attachments, while the Gosler does have it. So they're pretty close. I'm gonna put the Mercenary like on top of the Gosler just because the Grenade Launcher, mainly how I tend to use it. I think that the damage and like while using like hip fire, it might depend on the class too. If you're using in a class to have like action hero, like has passive like assault or has more high like Dutch 87 that has more hip fire damage, it can be very better than the Gosler in many situations. But I think they're pretty close. But yeah, Mercenary is like the second best one, and the best one is of course the Hammerhead. There is just like no way to compete against it. In regards like to the bullets part, it's pretty close with the Gosler. It might do a little less damage, but the accuracy is better, the fire rate is better. So they're pretty even. Like they're gonna be, you can second in Predators pretty much like at the same rate with just the assault rifle part, just with the bullets part. And on top of that, he has the Grenade Launcher, and he also has the same kind of attachments that the Gosler can have. So it's pretty much like a Gosler with less damage, but better accuracy, better fire rate, and a Grenade Launcher. And in regards in comparing to the Mercenary, it might do a little less damage, but you can put attachments on it, which just makes it overall much more effective. And the damage is already pretty good. Like as many people have seen, I melt Predators so easily with the Hammerhead. The damage is already so high. Fighting base damage is already high, and if you just want to put like more damage, just like in assault class, Deadly Yautja Bane and the passive is gonna give 30% more damage, and then if you have like someone to lead it, it's gonna be 40% more damage. It's just insane. Like you don't need like more damage than with what you can have with the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead is really the weapon to just destroy, melt, and just completely slay Predators in this game. Well, this was it guys. I hope you guys liked the video. See ya next time.